Welcome to Protea Weekly. My name is Zane Stevens. I'm the founder of Protea Financial. And I am in South Africa. Yep. After a dramatic travel experience, including a cancelled flight in Heathrow, I eventually made it to South Africa last week, Thursday. Had a wonderful get-together with my team on Friday. And so far, I've had a ton of great meetings with all of the South African team. It's always interesting to sort of think about that. We have grown our business purely on the idea that we are a remote business. We work from home, though in both the US and in South Africa, we do have offices. We really are at a point in time where I would say the US side, we're definitely remote. With people in 3 different states, the only time we really get together is once a year as a group get together, and we'll do the odd social here and there. And maybe I run into the out-of-state team members at industry events. So it's fair to say we are remote, and that definitely works for us. In South Africa, it's a little bit different. We have a full office. Part of the office is that we want to provide our team members with a place to work if they need it. And that works for some people. There's some team members that drop their kids at school, and it's much more convenient for them to work from the office than it is for them to head all the way home again and then have to go, the same direction again for pickup. It is safe to say that our South African team works in a hybrid format. Very limited hybrid. There's small requirements to come into the office, and then we use the office for social get-togethers as well. But it is a hybrid environment. There is a requirement to come to the office. And it's interesting for me that we run the business in those 2 ways. We're not back at the office. We just have set ourselves up in 2 slightly different ways to try to achieve the same outcome. But in the last week, I've seen a lot of chatter about return to office. Especially in the US, it is a big thing. Companies want team members to return to the office in some way or form. When you look around in South Africa, almost everybody is required to go to an office. The remote work setups of COVID, they're gone. So it is an interesting outcome that when businesses are forcing for it, they're seeing a lot of pushback from their team members, or somebody push out a notice to accounting recruiters, tell me what is, that big thing that you're looking for. And it's like people willing to work at the office. And it's such an interesting conversation because I know as a business owner, it can be successful working remotely. People do want human interaction, so you have to find a way to connect. But I don't think there's a single team member at Protea, either in the US or in South Africa, that would put up their hand and say, hey, I really would like a full-time office job, 8 to 5, required to be there, sit at my desk, show you that I'm available at all times. And I think a lot of the population is saying the same thing, especially, people with kids, people looking after the elderly, younger people who have a lot more going on in their lives. I think what we've realized as a society is that we're happy to work, but we do want to work in a way that it works for our lives. The old adage goes, I don't want to work to live, I want to live and work. And I think a lot of people have sort of forgotten that. And forcing people to go to an office seems like a weird request unless there's a really good reason. I can't imagine why I'd want to go to the office if I'm going to be the only person there. I can't imagine why I would go to the office if I'm going to sit in a cubicle and only interact with people at lunchtime. I don't know why I'd go to the office if I'm not getting good coaching and mentoring on a regular basis. I'm not sure I want to just go to the office to have a meeting that I could have possibly had over a phone call. Personally, I go to the office a couple times a week, but I have a reason for it. Normally you see it, I'm recording the podcast. I go to our office because I have the desired outcome of recording a video. The other reason I go there, sometimes I know I'm going to have a ton of phone calls, and I find it a little unfair to my wife to be on the phone all day, so she has to tiptoe around. I have a reason to go to the office. On days that I don't have a reason to go to the office, I love working from home. I love the freedom to either work at a table, work on the couch, take calls walking, take calls in my backyard, take calls while lying on a bed or doing some step-ups while I'm enjoying that call. I like that I don't have to rush to pack myself a lunch. I don't have to rush to get myself pretty, so that's always a struggle. But I enjoy the freedom of being able to be like, let me get going. And even with me, who has a commute of, it's 2 miles to the office. So we're talking somewhere round trip of 15 to 20 minutes on a bad day. That's 15 to 20 minutes that I could be using in such a different way. I could be reading, cooking dinner, spending time with my kids, getting some exercise in, or just relaxing. I get that we want to provide opportunities for people to interact with each other. But if you are requiring people go back to the office, I really need to wonder, why do you need this? I think we have to understand there needs to be a justifiable reason to request people to leave the comfort of their homes to come to a workplace where they're most likely not as productive, and you have to have a good argument for it. Now, it might be that you're, a CPA firm and you do taxes. And it is helpful to have people in the office. So if they have queries, questions, or if you're having to go across difficult topics, we can use the combined thought process of the team to help complete their work. But if you're a CPA firm and you're just requiring people to come sit at their desk, log into their computer and work, and never interact with each other, what are you doing? What are we doing? Forcing people out of a comfort zone to just go sit at a desk and be quiet seems ridiculous. We all know that the accounting industry has a serious issue in even getting people to study accounting in, college. I don't even talk about recruiting them into the accounting career at this point. We can't even get them to think about doing accounting at college because we set such unrealistic expectations. We require them to study more, pay them less to work beyond, and then we act like it's slave labor and you better come sit at this cubicle. I get that we do need human interaction. I get that there's a benefit of doing training in person. I get, especially with new staff, to allow them to be in the office so they can get the coaching and mentoring they need. But those are reasons to ask people to return to the office, and probably reasons to ask people to return to the office on a hybrid basis, not every single day. 8 to 5, I better see your face. The goal to keeping people in our business is making sure they are happy. And the way to provide happiness to people is to allow them to live their lives and have the flexibility to do things that make them happy. And if you're requiring 8 to 5 for no good reason other than you want to see their body, you're not providing that flexibility. They will not be happy, and they will most likely move on to a place where they feel more valued and appreciated. I am not against going to the office, but I am against going to the office for the sake of going to the office. If there's a good reason to be there, like a group meeting, training, one-on-one meetings to help with the coaching and mentoring and performance improvement, 100%. Let's do it. We do it. We are a remote business that now offers a requirement on hybrid business because we believe that at certain times there is a good reason to ask people to come to the office. Some of it's to get interaction. Some of it's to have team meetings face to face so we can feel how the other people are actually reacting to the questions. We are putting in place hybrid requirements, be in the office for a little bit of time to try and get the best out of those situations. But on the majority, we're telling people, work from home as you want to. Work in a different location if that works for you. But remember, the office is there. The office is there if you need an additional place to work, and the office is there if you guys want to get together and work through a problem. People seem to like that. People like that we treat them like adults and trust them. But people also like that we are creating these opportunities for coaching, mentoring, and learning. Let's be better as an accounting industry and understand that we don't need to force people to the office for the sake of forcing people to the office. So I'm looking at you, senior people at accounting practices. If you want people at the office, provide a good reason for them to be there, which means you probably can't sit behind your computer and work and just have them in the same space as you. I know that's how we used to work. I was there. I was at KPMG for 4 years. I sat in offices with people for a long period of time. I sat staring at my computer many days because I was expected to be at the office. That didn't make happy people. Let's not repeat the mistakes of the past. You can 100% require people to be in the office, but make sure that the experience is worthwhile. Make sure there is value in them being there, and no nice coffee, fancy chair, lovely views is going to be enough value. You're going to have to add value with interaction. You're going to have to add value with training. You're going to have to add value with coaching and mentoring. Give them a good reason to be there. Another thing to think about, if you are requiring people to come back to the office, you're probably going to have to look at monetary reasons to be there. People have adjusted their lives. People are primary caregivers to children and the elderly. People moved away from their primary source of work because it was not affordable to live near the office anymore. Nobody wants to spend time commuting for 2 hours. I know that was a decision to be made, and they chose to make that decision. But if you're forcing them into the office, remember they can make the decision to go work somewhere else. They're more likely to leave their job than they are to leave their home. So let's be smart about it. Find ways to either add value to their lives when they're in the office or incentivize returning to the office. I know this is difficult to think about, but working remotely has so many great benefits. I am not against returning to office, but do it in a way that makes sense, in a way that adds value to the individual, and a way that adds value to the business. Returning to office for the sake of returning to the office is not a good reason. Let's use this opportunity to be better than we were in the past and provide people with the opportunities to flourish in this new world we are creating. There's no return to normal. We have to craft the new way forward, and this will lead to us creating an environment that more people that never considered accounting might start considering this as a great career opportunity. Let's do better. We have the opportunity to make things better for us, better for our teams, and better for the future of the industry. I know we can do it. Thanks for listening. Have a good week. Be kind. Goodbye.